everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well today um, and you're having a great day wherever you happen to be in the world. So welcome back and thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be making a slow cooker pork loin today with potatoes, baby carrots, some boozy apple cider, some herbs from the garden, red onions, and garlic. Now, I was able to pick up this pork loin on sale for $6 Canadian, so this dinner will come in at probably just around $8. Well, all right, everyone. So now we're going to start getting this prepared. We're going to sear it first before we put it into the crock pot. So I add about a teaspoon and a half or so of Himalayan salt. And I also add a couple of good little teaspoons of ground black pepper. Then I usually like to put in some thyme on its own, just because thyme and pork go so nicely together, as well as apple, right? And then I usually add a couple of good heaping spoons of my herb mixture from last year's herb garden. So I grew all these in my own garden. They're all organic. It's rosemary, thyme, some other Italian seasonings, and oregano, yes. So I just dry those and I have them all winter long. Then I do like to do some garlic powder just because it adds sort of a more subtle garlic flavor to things, but we're going to be adding raw chopped garlic to the actual crock pot anyway. But this helps with the searing process too because it gives it sort of a nice crust. And the more you seal this in, especially a really lean cut of pork like this, the more juicy or the more tender it's going to be inside when it's done, even in a slow cook. So I just rub it all over, give it a little love, make sure it's thoroughly covered. I think I add a little bit more here and there. It won't hurt it, trust me. So yeah, we'll just season it off and get it ready to go in the very hot frying pan. So here I've got some vegetable oil heating up in the pan, trying to get it nice and hot so it will sear the meat. And it should brown relatively quickly. I like to move it around a bit, let it get in some of that oil. It'll make the outside of it even that much tastier. So we'll just cook it like this on each side. Only takes about a minute each side or so. Okay, and now we're on to the cooking brine that we're going to put in the crock pot. And this is what's going to infuse an awful lot of flavor and tenderness to this meat. So the first thing I use is a couple of teaspoons of mustard. You can use any kind you like. I like hot mustard, gives it a little bit of a zippy flavor. And then I add some beef broth because it works better than chicken broth with pork, and vegetable broth, you can use that too, but I like beef broth. It adds a little bit more flavor. So I do about a cup and a half of that or so. And I also, just to know, I use the no salt added because using salted really adds far too much salt to your cooking. So I add a few big dashes of Worcestershire sauce. And again, with some pepper. Don't be shy. A little bit more Himalayan salt. About half a teaspoon. And then the cider, now, as much as I would be tempted to drink half of this myself, I am going to donate it all to today's recipe of slow cooked pork roast. So I just give that a good mix and make sure it's all blended. Okay, so that's good. Okay, folks, so here we are with the slow cooker. I've got it currently turned on high. Don't leave it on high with nothing in it for very long, because if you add something cold to it, it'll crack your bowl. So just know that. So the first thing I'm going to throw in here is the chopped red onions. I used two fairly, well, medium-sized red onions, I guess you could say. And I kept them chopped really coarse. And the reason for this is because I want the roast to sit on top of them. So yeah, so I just create a bed with the onions. These are going to caramelize and become super sweet. Again, yeah, beautiful. So now I'm going to add the garlic. This is about 4 cloves of garlic chopped up fairly fine, not super fine. I love garlic, so 4 cloves is perfect for me. You might want to reduce it to 2 if you're not such a garlic lover. It's entirely up to you. So that's all I put in the bottom of the pot for now, really. I'll add a little bit more pepper just for the hell of it, and a little bit more salt. There we go. A bit more. All right. So now the star of the show, we'll get our really nicely seared roast. And I've done it on all sides. And it's not burnt, it's seared. So I did that on probably, it was a good medium-high heat anyway. And I used a nonstick pan just because it's easier. So now I'm going to add the cooking brine that we made earlier. And this is mostly bone broth and a lot of apple cider. Now the alcohol, don't worry about the alcohol in the apple cider. That will actually boil off. So this, kids can eat this too. Don't worry about the alcohol part. So yeah, we'll just fill this up, and it looks like a lot of broth, but a lot of it's going to evaporate, like I said, you know. And the other thing too is what I like to do with this is I like to make a really nice pork and onion gravy, which makes things fabulous. So yeah, we just get that all in there, get the rest of that mustard, and give it a little stir. And there we go. All right, so I have this set on high. You can do it on high for 4 hours, or better yet, do it on low for 7 to 8. We'll add the potatoes and the carrots a little bit later. Otherwise, they'll go really mushy and yeah, they won't be nice. So probably an hour out from it being done, we'll add those vegetables. All right, and now we're going to move over to getting our gravy ready to put back into the roast in the crock pot. So I usually start with a couple of tablespoons of butter. I usually add a little bit of olive oil to that as well. Butter's nicely melted now, so we can add our flour. It's probably about 3 tablespoons here. And we'll just give that a stir. And yeah, usually you want it to be sort of a loose paste. So yeah, this is going to probably need a little bit more flour. Yeah, so this is about the right consistency. It's sticking to my whisk here, but that's normal. The butter will kind of melt into the flour, and you want to let this flour cook for about a minute, thereabouts, until it gives you a good color. If you don't cook the flour before you put your whatever your broth or your cooking broth in, you're going to end up with a gravy that has a very floury taste to it. It's not very pleasant. So yeah, we'll just get this up to heat. We want to see it bubbling a little bit, but not super bubbling. Otherwise, you're going to burn your butter. And you'll have to start over. So this is just about ready. Add our broth, our cooking juices. And you're going to find this is probably going to thicken up relatively fast, which is great. We'll let it simmer for a little while. I'm going to turn this down now. I've been doing this on sort of a medium heat. Yeah, so you don't want to do it too high, otherwise it's going to scald and it's not going to taste good. So I'll lift this up a little bit, keep it off the heat for a second. And add some more broth. I'm probably going to use all of it. Yeah, that's thickening nicely. It's nice and smooth. Yeah. Okay, so back over to our crock pot here. And we're going to take this nicely little rested roast. It's practically falling apart in these tongs. And we're just going to break it up. Now, it's up to you whether you want it really fine like a pulled pork. Put the rest of these juices in here. Yeah, you can either do it like a pulled pork and use it for sandwiches or things like that. Or you can do it like serve it the way I'm serving it tonight, and that's, broken up into fairly large, medium-sized pieces. And it'll be smothered in our gravy that's just waiting to come and marry this pork roast. It smells so good. So we'll get this broken up here. And like I said, you can break it up as fine as you want. All right, I give it a few more little stirs and pulls. And it looks like that's pretty good. Okay. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added back in the gravy and put it on a low heat just to warm things back up again. Now this looks pretty saucy. It looks a little saucier than, what you might expect. Now at this point, if you want it thicker, you can always add some flour to it because it's not too hot, so it should dissolve okay. I actually would use a little water in it. And but otherwise, once you've cooled this off it's going to become really thick. Anyway, so that is the pork in gravy part. And now I'll show you what it looks like all put together on the plate. So here's how our dinner looks on the plate. Not bad looking. I would probably add some fresh parsley sprinkled on top if I had a little bit right now, but this is what it looks like. Give you a little zoom there. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed watching how I put this together today, and it's very super cheap and super simple to make. I hope it works out for you. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye now.